All right, guys. So we're back with another episode of Sakht Cricket. I think one of the things that we've been gone for a while, so there's a couple of things that we want to talk about. And hopefully next time we'll have a better intro. But one of the things that we do want to talk about is the fact that we're now going to be moving this from Urdu to English because we feel that, that'll help us sort of expand our audience space, hopefully. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Anything you want to say, Faisal, or
I think it'll always end up being a hybrid.
it
It's
will
just
be.
the reality.
Yeah, it will be. Like we'll definitely shift into Urdu here and there, but we'll try to keep it to English as much as we can, just to make sure that like everybody listening is able to understand what we're saying. Because as we know now, cricket has become a pretty popular game, and there's a lot of people that are interested in it. Anyway, so I think if we do start our recap, we'll kind of talk about Pakistan and Bangladesh, the recent series at home. Then we'll sort of go into RCB winning the
Yeah.
IPL.
Historic.
That's a historic win. Kohli basically retiring from Test cricket. I think that's something that definitely denotes us talking about it. And then we'll sort of wrap up with the World Test Championship final.
Mhm.
That's actually ongoing, an extremely interesting game. But anyway, so if I were to start with the Pakistan-Bangladesh series, and just a quick recap, I think that was a pretty dominant performance by Pakistan, like beating Bangladesh at home 3-0. We saw a lot of positives. I think Haris came out as he played really well. He was actually the player of the series, right?
Yeah,
Mohammad
I
Haris?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had a century in the last game. So I think overall he played really well. Hassan Ali was making his comeback, so he did. Like he took a couple of wickets. Shadab and I think a couple of other bowlers as well were pretty good. Bangladesh was kind of, I'd say, like lukewarm. But again, like even if like Bangladesh is still a good side, so I think Pakistan, especially with their new setup and the new coach, saw a lot of positive intent. Typically, what I've seen is that when we talk about intent in Pakistan, it's usually just brainless batting. You go in and try to hit as much as you can. But I think here we sort of saw like there was maybe like they're trying to figure out there's a method to the madness. But anyway, what do you think?
Yeah. So I think the biggest difference was to what you said earlier on. Like intent has to be backed by skills, right? Like if you're getting batsmen to swing hard, and they just don't have the skill set to be able to play fast, and then you show intent, it's never really going to work. I think swapping in and bringing some new guys like Nawaz was a great addition. He also showed that in New Zealand. Bringing Saidwada Farhan in was a good call. Sticking with Haris, even though I'm not a biggest fan, but
Why not?
I just feel that he's a perfect example of brilliant cricketer.
I mean, he was kind of like he was trying to do something different though. Like this time, I thought he was trying to think before he was hitting. Like I felt that. That's why.
I feel I will hold my judgment because I think that his madness paid off. Bangladesh batting or Bangladesh bowling was probably not the best test.
Like it was even more brainless than the batting itself.
And their fielding also let them down quite a bit. So saying that Haris is the perfect model would be a bit too premature at this stage. But Farhan and Nawaz definitely stand in good stead. I think even Mohammad Naeem, sorry, sitting in the not even being picked for now would be a good addition. Aga's captaincy overall was, I think, overall calm and pressure. Like they clearly knew what they wanted to do. I still feel that it's a bit of a makeshift team, to be honest, because you have a lot of players in there that can do bits and pieces here and there. So they need to start getting away from that. You can't have Khusdil Shah, Shadab Khan, and Fahim Ashraf all playing in the same 11,
Yeah.
right? So that needs to be figured out. But overall, with the batting additions, they do seem to be moving into playing modern cricket.
Yeah, and I think they might even like attempt to bring back somebody like Babar Azam at some point just to play that anchor role.
I still feel that he has a space in the team. Where he bats is going to be obviously a big question mark because if you slot him in at 3, which is a spot, then where do you play Haris, right? That becomes a question mark. But you do need someone like him to be able to anchor the innings and everybody plays around him. I still feel that there are question marks on Fakhar Zaman too because someone like Mohammad Naeem is sitting out, who played really well in the PSL, and Fakhar is still holding a spot. Fakhar and Saim playing in the same team doesn't really make a lot of sense. So they have they still have a few things to figure out, but Babar does
Do
for
you,
now hold a spot.
do you think that they would like just move away from Babar Azam and try to maybe fashion somebody like Haris or any other player that's currently playing in this team and then try to get them to play that anchor role while also having the ability to hit out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the only guy that you can really do that around is Aga.
Yeah.
Everybody else is basically go out and just like play fast, right? So you have Aga, but Aga is also changing his game. He's playing reverse sweeps. He's trying to paddle the ball. So I think you need someone a bit more conventional to play the anchor role. Babar does the reserve spot. I don't think Rizwan can make it. If you play Babar and Rizwan cannot play in the same team, especially when it comes to T20 cricket. So, and like Hassan even said that Babar is in his plans. Now it's just a matter of can Babar evolve his game enough to be able to take quick singles and rotate strike enough so that you can have the bigger guys getting more strike and hitting bigger scores.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think that form of batting doesn't really have a place in T20.
So then I think like there's interesting times ahead for Pakistan cricket,
Yeah.
which we will continue to monitor, and we'll try to bring that as much of that as we can.
Yeah.
There's a couple of more series coming up. So sort of like shifting gears then and moving into our neighbors, RCB winning the IPL. I actually felt really happy because I watch the IPL. I have like a lot of friends that watch the IPL, but there's so much cricket that you sort of have to like decide what you want to watch. But I do I'll follow I'll follow RCB. I used to follow Daredevils a lot back when Iyer was in there, because I like Iyer as a player and a captain as well. But anyway, so I was really happy for Kohli because he just retired and then he finally won it, and especially that he did score. I think he scored a 43 in the game, and it was a very emotional moment for him because I think there's a lot going on in his life other than cricket. So to me, I it was a good, and it was I think the highest viewed watched. I think 169 million people tuned in for it as well. So they probably made a lot of money.
For, number 18, after 18 long years, he got close a bunch of times. So finally being able to lift the trophy obviously means a lot to him. Obviously means a lot to Bangalore. Obviously means a lot to the fans too. I did feel bad for Iyer because he got close. He got Punjab to the brink, got them in the playoffs. So I was kind of rooting for him to maybe get another game, especially the way that the BCCI has been treating him. So I was kind of rooting for him too. But
that's the whole Mumbai versus Delhi situation. That's what Anyway, that's a different debate we should talk about later.
Yeah,
But
I don't want to get into the whole politics of it. But I was kind of rooting for him because I really wanted him to get another trophy and then make the case that he deserves to be in the team
and deserves to be the captain, instead of Gill being the captain.
Instead of I don't necessarily think Gill was the right choice, but anyways, that's a whole other discussion. All of that happening had me rooting for Iyer for a long time. But once they got knocked out, then you're like, well, now you would rather just vote for Kohli and hopefully that he wins.
Yeah.
Especially with everything that was going on and how BCCI treated Kohli, which was very surprising to me.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that too, but him retiring from T20 and then almost...
No, he hasn't retired. Oh, no, has he retired from
Retired from
T20?
T20.
Oh, wow, really?
Almost
I didn't
being
know that.
pushed out of the team to even retire from Test cricket when I think he still had a few years left in him. So the win just makes everything a bit more sweeter, especially if you're a fan. So yeah, RCB getting a win. Overall, a good tournament, I think.
Well, RCB was I think they won all of their away fixtures as well, right?
Yeah, they
RCB,
did really well. There were a few teams that actually were surprised. Like Punjab, nobody really thought that they would come that far, but Iyer basically had a pretty decent squad. They didn't have an excellent squad, but they still played well as a team.
Which is what makes him getting into the final with that team a lot more like that.
And to be honest, even there, they did well, but got close. But I think the one inning where the Vadera's innings, if that had not been a run of ball and actually he was playing at 130, 140,
it would have made a
different
difference.
game.
Yeah.
So, but they bowled well at the depth, RCB, so credit to them. It's not like it was a fluke.
Yeah.
Hazelwood, even though he got smacked for 20 odd runs towards the end, did hold his nerve in the second last over that he bowled where he held them back and that basically got them over the line. But
I think it was a team effort because I think for RCB, a lot of times they've been sort of overshadowed by the fact that Kohli plays for RCB. So I think this time he was backed up and this just proves to you that cricket is it's not about just one person holding up their end, and then it's a team sport.
Yeah.
So everybody has to perform.
You have to bowl well, you have to feel well. It's not one player cannot win you the game. And T20 is evolved.
It's a game for specialists now, right?
Yeah. So I think so. And getting into the whole conversation around Kohli retiring anyway.
Yeah. What do you think about that? I think that I feel that he could have played more and he could have beat that 10,000 run mark because he finished at 9,200.
Yeah, 700 short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely feel that he could have definitely played the next calendar for the WTC.
Yeah.
And who knows, India could have actually come into the final again.
It's right, especially the fact that even on his, I think it was the press conference he gave after winning the IPL, he still said that I put like Test cricket 5 levels above T20. So the fact that he said that, I think Test cricket could have still used him more, especially while the Indian team is in transition, where you don't want a lot of their players to start thinking about being like, oh, like T20 is a thing, and where it's because he can set that example, right? So I just feel that he could have played more. He could have stuck around a little bit more and given Test cricket, like a little bit more. But I think it's more of a family decision for him, because I think he was just like, I'm done. I haven't anything left to prove.
Yeah, family would be one side of it. I think that generally the BCCI did him dirty. Like they could have done a better job at retaining him. They did the same thing with Rohit too. Like people, they won the World Cup. They came out and they said, well, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stick around. We definitely are not going to retire from Test cricket. And then a few months later, they just retire, and you're like, what happened? So I feel like BCCI did influence a lot of those decisions. Kohli definitely had at least 3, maybe 4 years.
Because he's
looking at his fitness.
He's fitter than most people on the team anyway.
Yeah, Sachin played till 40, man.
Yeah, and he wasn't that fit.
Yeah, so like you think that, and you could tell that the recipe was there where he was slowly starting to regain form. So he could, and given that now India is such a young side, getting a couple of stalwarts to guide and coach and mentor the new guys coming in is always helpful, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing that we always talk about Pakistan team. We never got transitions. Like
transitions are really bad. Like there is no such thing as transitions in Pakistan.
So I feel like that was one thing that I would want to say. The other thing is that you're going into England, which is typically not a very happy hunting ground for India regardless.
Yeah.
Now you're setting up basically a fresh face team. You don't have Rohit. You don't have Kohli. You have a new captain. Possibly your best performing batsmen in the Indian domestic circuit, like Iyer and Gaikwad, are not there.
Yeah.
So you feel like, yes, you're trying to basically build a team for the future, but the goal.
But too many wholesale changes.
Yeah, the goal should also be to build, like, you want to build a World Test Championship, right? Like, so what are you saying now, that we're just going to give up this whole cycle because we're basically in rebuilding phase? Like,
it could also be overconfidence as well.
Could be, because they think that England is not really that strong. Maybe they thought that, well, this is the.
But England is a handful, man.
Yeah,
like,
exactly, right? It's not easy, and it's like 4 or 5 games. So you can't just go in there thinking, well, they don't have Anderson and Broad, so now we have a good side.
And
They
Test
have a
cricket
strong
is all
lineup.
about temperament anyway. So it's about your skills, but how you apply those skills under pressure, fitness. A lot of stuff comes in play.
And
so
England usually is a hostile tour for them anyway. Like the English crowd typically does not
like any
treat
other
Indian
any
teams
other
well.
visiting team.
Yeah. So like having someone like a Kohli or Rohit to just calm the team down and just just keeping them focused would have been a good thing. But I don't know, BCCI had other plans and probably they didn't work with Kohli. Like if I was there, I would have just given him captaincy and say, oh, you know what, captain the team for Rohit is gone, captain the team for the England tour, and then we'll figure out what to do after. But just lead the side for now. And I guess they just decided to part ways, which is very surprising and quite honestly like a big loss for cricket.
I mean, that's how things happen in our part of the world anyway.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunate.
You were talking about the World Test Championship, the final. Let's just sort of like talk about that before we sign off for the video. The biggest thing I'm obviously rooting for South Africa. I love Australia. I like their temperament. But this time, I kind of want South Africa to win because it's a new team. And if they win, I think it'll be good for Test cricket in that sense. Obviously, and if they win, they'll deserve it because Australia is not a pushover. But one of the things that I was really happy about, and one of the reasons why I like Australia so much, is Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
And the fact that he, 6 for 28 and got to his 300th wicket. So I think that was, because this pitch was tailor-made for him. Like you cannot mess with this guy on this kind of a pitch, which is seaming. Although, I think once you're set, it's a little bit better, as we're seeing now, because now we're into the 4th day.
Or day 3 is over.
They're down only 2 wickets. They only have
60-some runs to chase.
Which they should be able to do it unless something weird happens tomorrow morning, which it can, especially on a wicket like this. But overall, I think the World Test Championship has been it's been an interesting one. I enjoyed it personally. I've watched a lot of games here and there, and this final is kind of it's a good little it sums up the tournament pretty well, because that's how the tournament has kind of been. It's been up and down, different wickets as people moved across different parts of the world. But what do you think?
Well, there's 2 sides to it. I want Pat Cummins to win another Test Championship.
Yeah.
Just to stick it to everybody else. But then you want South Africa to win primarily because of the politics at the ICC level, right? Now they're talking about a 2-tiered system. So you will put the best top 3 teams in one tier, and you put another team in other teams in another tier, and they shouldn't really be playing each other on the calendar. So if South Africa now wins, they basically make a case for, well, you think we're a tier 2 team, but we just beat Australia.
Yeah.
Right? In the Test Championship. So it shuts a lot of people up especially the folks from Australia, India, and England that were saying, well, why are they even in the final? They shouldn't be player. The whole scheduling is broken,
Yeah.
and now they show up and they beat Australia. So that's a big win for not just South African cricket, but I think overall Test cricket, because it means that there's value in these teams touring even smaller teams, right?
Yeah.
Like to just
But that's the only way you get better. Otherwise, everybody that sucks will always suck,
Yeah.
and everybody who's doing well will always continue. And then it just becomes really like it's like good teams playing against good teams. You'll remain the same way. Like you'll have like there'll be disparity, and that disparity will increase over time.
Well, right now that's what's happening, right? Like the whole conversation about tiered system is because they think that, well, 3 teams are better than everybody else, so we
Yeah.
shouldn't really tour anybody else. And like, well, then you're killing Test cricket basically.
Yeah. Which they want to do though, because I don't
Yeah.
think there's a lot of money in it.
And with the World Test Championship, obviously, even with the final, man, I'm not a big believer in it being hosted at Lords every year. They should do like a rotation,
Yeah.
so other countries get a chance to host it as well. But honestly, like it is a good system where you're forcing the bigger teams to at least tour smaller teams, and smaller teams are getting exposed to Test cricket.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that they'll actually get better, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't, if you put them in the same pool and they're just only playing with each other, how are you going to promote them?
Well, because back in the
Like,
day,
what does
there
that
used to be a
mean?
lot of Test cricket. Like
Yeah.
everybody would play each other.
You had tours.
Yeah. Now we're just classes. Like I don't know whether it's colonization or I have no idea what happened.
It's just money, man.
It's just money.
Like,
True.
like the economics of cricket and TV rights are structured in a way where your money is consolidated amongst a few clubs or a
Serious-
few boards, and
So you're saying it's capitalism.
basically, yeah.
We
And
don't like capitalism here,
no.
even though we profit off of it though. So-
Yeah, well, but I think that there is when you're looking at sports and you look at the FIFA model, I think
that's
that's
the
what
most
they
corrupt
should be.
model in the world.
But it helps the game, right?
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean-
there is corruption, because corruption you can't avoid it. Like
Yeah.
anywhere where there's money, there is going to be corruption. But at the very least, it helps the game. The World Cup increases every year, like increases in size every year. You have more teams qualifying. There's more qualifiers being played. More teams are getting into the sport.
Yeah.
But in cricket, the reverse is happening. You're
Yeah.
killing more and more teams are moving towards T20 cricket and less from Test cricket. So unless the ICC now feels that, well, we're only going to make money in short format and you're going to kill all long formats, then the skill of the game is just going to die,
Yeah.
right?
The
And
quality
that-
will reduce over
and that's
time.
what Kohli was saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you really want to test yourself and you want to become an improved or an
Like a
overall
legend.
better, you have to play Test cricket. Otherwise, you have skills and you can be a batsman, but you're not like a cricketer.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
No, I think that definitely merits like a different at least a separate conversation. I think we should probably do a video on that. But I think for today, then I guess we can
Yeah,
like
let's
a
see what
good
happens
little overview that we gave, and we're now back. So we're
Yeah.
gonna be putting out a long form video every week. You'll probably see a couple of shorts in between as well, and then we're primarily just moving to English. So let us know what you think about our new format, and please like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you guys next week.